plus 26v plus 8 equals negative 8. What do we do first? Plus 8. So, and Isaiah, when you said plus 8, why did you say that? Yeah, we're eliminating the negative 8 because our goal is we wanted to equal 0, right? Yeah. Okay, so 3v squared plus 26v, and now what do we have? Plus 16, okay. And at the point where we made it equal 0, what is our next step? Factor. We're factoring. And this one has a number in front of the squared term. So it's a slide divide problem. Okay, so we are going to do the x, but before we even think about it, we're not going to put the 16 in the top because we got to slide divide. So we're not putting the 16 in the top. How do we figure out what goes in the top? 3 times 16. What's 3 times 16? 48. Okay, so we're finding a number that multiplies to 48 and adds to what? 26. Okay, don't say it out loud, just see if you can find it. So we're finding a number that multiplies to 48 but adds to 26. Multiplies to 48, adds to 26. Don't say it yet. Jamon, are you done with your notes? Okay, let's put the laptop away. Tawana, did you finish your notes? Can I see them? Oh, you showed me already. Isaiah, did you finish your notes? Can you hold them up? Got them. Thank you. Okay. Jada, did you finish yours? Did I see them already? Yeah. I think I looked back there. Yeah. Huh? Okay. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Okay. All right. Anyone have the two numbers? 24 and 2. 24 times 2 is 48. 24 plus 2 is 26. Okay, so what do we do now? We have the two numbers. We're doing slide divide bottoms up before we divide, because we don't have anything to divide by, right? I haven't written anything down except for I wrote the two numbers. So I take the two numbers and I do what with them? I know they add to 26. I haven't written any factors down yet. Okay. So I'm going to write v plus 24, v plus 2. Okay. And then what do I do? Slide, divide, bottoms up. Divide. Divide by? Not 2. 3. I divide by 3 because that was the number I slid. So whatever the number is I slide, that's the number you divide. Okay? Yeah. Okay. And then if we look at each of our fractions, is there anything we could do with any of them? Okay. 24 over 3 is 8. Okay. So we have v plus 8. Okay. Does 2 over 3 simplify? No. So what do we have for that one? 3v plus 2. Okay. Equals 0. All right. So now our factors are completely done. So we are ready to take those factors and solve them. How do we solve them? This is Jonathan's step. Jonathan always knows this step. You know this step? Yeah, how do we solve them? Yeah, zero product property. We set them equal to 0. V plus 8 equals 0. 3v plus 2 equals 0. So what do we do here? Minus 8. V equals negative 8. That's one answer. The other one is a little bit more complicated because it has the 3 in front of the V. So what are we going to do first? Yeah, subtract the 2 over. 3v equals negative 2. And then divide by the 3. And so whenever we have the slide divide problems, the factor that had the bottoms up, that factor is always going to give you a fraction answer. The bottoms up factor gives you a fraction answer. And you can actually see the fraction answer right here. So v plus positive 2/3, the answer is negative 2/3. Okay. Okay, example 6. Let's try 13r squared minus 5r equals 8r plus 5r squared plus 6. So this one has a lot of stuff going on. Now, the thing to remember when you do these is we always want the term with the r squared, that term you want to be positive. Because whenever we factor, we've always had that term be positive. You don't want it to be. So you would just have to take out a -1 as a GCF. So basically what I do is if I have a negative for that, I move it to the other side of the equation. So if there's a 13 over here and a 5 over here, then I want all my stuff to end up on the side where it's bigger. So if the 13's on the left side, move everything to the left. If the 13 were on the right side, then I would have moved everything to the right side. So wherever the r squared term is bigger or positive, that's where you want all of your stuff to end up because it's easier to factor. It's us being lazy. It's not us making ourselves work harder. It's making ourselves work easier. Okay? All right, so since the 13r squared is over here, that means we want everything to move to the left side. Okay? So that means all this stuff is going to move to the left. So I have a positive 8r, so I'm going to do negative 8r to move it. I'm just lining it up under its like term. I have a positive 5r, so I'm going to do positive 5r squared. So I'm going to do negative 5r squared to move it. And then the 6 doesn't have anywhere to line up, so I'm just going to put a -6 over here. So I moved everything over to the left side, so that means the right side is just 0 now. (13r squared minus 5r squared is 8. It is 8r squared. Okay. We have a -5r and a -8r. Negative. I heard 2 answers there. Do we know which one it is? I've heard 13 and 3. Do we know which one's right? 13. So we have 5 negatives and 8 negatives gives you 13 negatives. Okay, and then we have just a random -6, so we just write -6 on the end. 0. Okay. And then at the point where we have made it equal 0, what do we do? We factor it. And what type of factoring is this? Slide divide. Okay, so we're going to do the x. and we're doing slide divide, and we know it's a slide divide because there's an 8 in the front. The r squared is not by itself. So there's a number in the front of the r squared. It means it's not by itself. Put the book away, please. And put the Chromebook away. Yep. And get your notes out. Nope, nope, nope. I don't want to hear the excuse. I just want your math notes out. So put it all away. Get your math notes out. All right. So 8 multiplied by negative 6 is what? Negative 48. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 48 and add to what? Negative 13. Two numbers that multiply to negative 38 and add to negative 13. So I'm going to let my calculator help me. Negative 48 divided by x. Huh? Wait 1 second and then you can. Okay, Isaiah, what are the numbers? You're close. You want a negative 13.
Oh, negative 16, negative 13.
Okay, so negative 16 and 3. Okay, and once we have the two numbers, then what do we do? R minus 16, R plus 3, okay. So slide, divide, bottoms up. What do we do next? Divide by 8. Okay. And then what do we do? What do you get? 2. So we have R minus 2. And then what do we have? We got 3 over 8. Does that simplify? No. Move the 8 where? Okay, so we have 8R. Okay. And then do we say we're done or do we have to do something else? Okay. Okay. Now what do we do? Okay. Okay, so we've got one solution. 8R. Okay. So R equals negative 3/8. Perfect. Okay. So do you guys remember in elementary school how you guys used to do the color by number sheets?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I made you guys color by number sheets, but they're high school appropriate instead of elementary school appropriate. And so we're going to be coloring Snoop Dogg today. And so here's how the coloring sheet works. And you can do it this way or not do it this way because you are in high school. So if you want to do it differently, you can. So here is the picture of Snoop Dogg. He's making a symbol with his hands that means I love math. Don't tell me any differently. Okay, that's what that symbol means. Also, don't make it around school, please. Okay, so we are doing the first 8 problems today. How many problems are you doing? 8. The first 8. The other problems are for tomorrow. Okay, so we're only doing 1 through 8 today. So what you're going to do is on the sheet, at the top, you're going to, for each problem, you're going to write a color. So next to number 1, you're going to write green, next to number 2, pink, next to number 3, orange, next to number 4, brown, next to number 5, yellow. You're just going to write the colors down. Then you're going to go through and you're going to solve the problem. You're going to set it equal to 0, you're going to factor, you're going to get the answers. Once you are done factoring and getting the answers, you're going to look at the answer key back here, and you're going to see what letter corresponds to the answers you solve to get. So if you get an answer that is not back here, that means you did something wrong. Does that make sense? Okay. And then you're going to get done and you're going to say, oh, great, the answer to number 1 is A. So you're going to go up and you're going to write the letter A, and you're going to say, cool, next to number 1, I wrote green. And the answer is A. So then you're going to go, sweet, Snoop has a green face. Make sense? Miss Rice, why are we coloring this way? Because it amuses me. You guys should know me better now. Okay. Now, if you don't want to color that way, that's fine. If you just want to rip the sheet off, not do the coloring part, and turn it in without any coloring, that's cool. If you want to rip the coloring part off, do the math first, save the coloring for later, and color it accurately, that's fine. It's up to you, okay? The purpose of the coloring is just to be a relaxing activity because a lot of us enjoyed the color by numbers when we were little kids, okay? So the coloring is supposed to be fun. There are markers in the back, there are colored pencils in the back, it is up to you. So if you want to do the color by number the way it's supposed to be done, that was what I was kind of explaining, and it ends up being a surprise, the colors are crazy. If you don't want to do it that way, it's up to you. If you choose not to color, you will not be marked down. Okay? Now, the only thing that is not allowed is that you put the math off to the side and color first. Okay? That is not allowed because this is first and foremost a math class. So your options are you can do the math completely and then color, or you can do math, color, math, color, math, color, math, color. Make sense? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hand these out. There are 8 problems. You should be able to get at least half of this done, if not more than half of this done, before you leave the class today. Okay, and then we do have a video tonight. The video is on quadratic formula, which is what the other half of the assignment is on. Okay, make sense? We good?